This video is for business leaders who want to go beyond excellence by continuously striving for mastery in their field. Watch to the end to get bonus material on how to maintain your trajectory toward mastery and a recommended video which will help you apply mastery principles across your business, just as the Ritz-Carlton has. So this is actually part 2 of an ongoing series on Robert Greene's book, a book review on Robert Greene's book, Mastery. While this piece stands alone, watch part 1 first if you want a deeper dive on these topics. So we ended last time with Greene's argument that it's better to master your innate vocation than to get a good job that lacks any kind of differentiation that basically anybody could do, but short term is a better job. He argues, and I agree, that this is not the big picture best way to go about your career. So essentially what's going to happen, and what does happen with most people, is it leads them to by sticking to your guns about your innate vocation, going after the idea of self-apprenticeship towards mastery, is that it will tend to lead to higher demand and income because you're recognized as a master rather than merely good at what you do. But this only happens if you created your own unique position of which you are a dominant or singular expert or master in. That is, oh, well, this person is the best at X. So I wish I'd read this book in 2012 when it first came out, as it would have given me a clearer path on my career. And this is the first book ever that to wholeheartedly agree, with my conclusions, earned from a lifetime of figuring out the same kind of things he talks about in the book for myself. He uses the biographical stories of exceptional historical figures that created their own paths and careers throughout history, including Buckminster Fuller, Charles Darwin, Mozart, Leonardo da Vinci, and Temple Grandin as some examples. So the exceptionally exciting part for me is that, save the biases mentioned in part 1 of this video series, their stories align with other books and histories that I've read about these people. That is, they're represented largely as accurate, save those biases, which you'll have to watch episode 1 or video part 1 to know what those are. So Greene shows that most of these people actually lacked advantage, had a disadvantage, and yet and were essentially unexceptional as students and in their careers until they went against convention to create their own self-apprenticeship or their own apprenticeship. When they did so, they were defied by their contemporary institutions, colleagues, friends, and even family for doing so. The family and friends part is very personal for me, as it's still true today, though much less so. That said, essentially what it is after decades of effort, my family have basically finally given up trying to change my mind about conforming and finding a good job. I've always had a job, but they do this. Essentially what this is they wanted me to hitch my dreams and success to a real job out of love and concern for my well-being, even though a real job, if you've had enough of them or you've been laid off, like a whole company shutting down, which I have been, you realize there is no such thing as job security or a good job. It's always temporary at best, though it may last your entire career. It's very unlikely, especially these days. So even so, it's effectively taken me, in my personal experience, stating explicitly or implicitly that the pursuit of my dream, and whether I do that while working at a job to pay my bills, simply wasn't open for debate. It took that level of insistence to get my family and friends who were doubtful, which were most of them, to sort of back off and remove that discussion from our relationships. Like, okay, we're not going to talk about that. So that's how challenging this can be, that even society in general, including your family, may resist you taking this path. And this is not the easy path. This is what I believe is the best path for people who feel driven towards it. I understand that what they did in the case of my family and friends was done out of love and desire to protect me from failure, lots of quotes in here today, and save me from my irrational dream career, when in fact there are no careers which are safe or assured in the world we now live in. So if you choose a life in pursuit of mastery, there is absolutely no guarantee you will ever in your entire life be able to make a career of it. But the path of your life will be rich with striving and meaning if you take it. The darkest side is that any job which doesn't or won't allow you to use your mastery will feel meaningless, and you're likely to never be satisfied with any such job. And that has been the entire course of my career. I've never really had a job where I felt like I was being anything but wasted, because I haven't been able to be able to live up to my potential, and in particular in the areas that I am striving ever for the rest of my life to be a master of. So it essentially, if you strive for mastery, you may find that there's no job except your own job that you create that will in any way ever be satisfying again. So now I'm already over 55, and despite all the challenges and lack of income and stress associated with being on the path of trying to create your own mastery, your own genre, I would still say, though reluctantly in some sense, that it's worth it. Your life needs to have meaning beyond your paycheck. Good benefits mean fuck all if you hate your job and feel like you're wasting your life. So essentially what this comes down to is, until I succeed, and this goes for anybody who's striving for mastery, I will climb this mountain or die upon it. That is the power and determination that striving for mastery gives you if you choose to take this path. So that's the end of the standard part of this video, and welcome to the bonus material. Thank you for watching this far. So the open secret to attaining mastery is to find that which you are sufficiently passionate about and interested in. Though talent is an advantage, it's far less important, as is illustrated in this book in the examples for the lives of the people that I've talked about and my own life. But the ingredients for the real secret sauce of success in doing this are celebrating progress of all kinds, no matter how small or slow it is. If you are on a path to mastery and to be the best you possibly can be within your own potential at something, it will tend to be unrewarding and without validation until you arrive at a very high level, in which case then people will be willing, open, and happy to pay you at being so good at what you're doing. Until you get there, though, the only one who's going to celebrate this, almost without exception, including your family, friends, partner, could easily be only yourself. So you need to celebrate progress and small wins with yourself, and ideally with others who support you. So the other things that are extremely important for you to be on this path and to have any chance of succeeding at it is that you have to have the following mindsets. Any business or job that supports me is acceptable, but at the same time, be ever on the outlook for the next step until you can make your self-apprenticeship mastery into a career. So I should make actually the next point makes this for me. I'll pursue this. Now remember, these are mindsets or frames. I'll pursue this mastery all or most of the days of my life until I master it. Regardless of outcome, so long as I can support myself and my family along the way. This isn't the sexy path. People only know people after they're famous and extremely successful. What happened before that point is what made them what they were, what they are, and who they are. And that path to mastery is mostly a lot of boring, lonely hours of just doing work that others may and indeed will be likely to actively discourage you from doing. So as long as you can support yourself and your family, it's nobody else's business if you want to be the best and to strive indeed for mastery of something. So that's really it, except let's see here. Yeah, we have a couple more mindsets here, and that is mastery is a trajectory, not a destination. Anybody who becomes the best in the world at anything or strives to be the best in the world, at least to the best of their actual potential, never feels like they've arrived. If you think that you're awesome, the best in the world, and let's say you are, if you are the very best in the world now, you should ask yourself how you can go beyond your own level of mastery. Most of the best in the world are always striving to be better than they are, which is why they achieved what the rest of us see as mastery as some magical talent, which was mostly probably at least that 10,000 hours of deliberate practice, which if you've actually read Kay Anders Ericsson's book, and if you haven't, I'll summarize this part for you. 10,000 hours of deliberate practice is the beginning of mastery, not the arrival at a final destination. So the next one is always strive, and this is related to the previous, always strive to outdo yourself rather than comparing yourself to others. Learn from them instead. That is, it doesn't matter how good anybody else is. If they have something to teach you, absolutely, you should learn it, and you should try to be around the best people who do what you do that you possibly can, even if they're better than you. This isn't to beat yourself up. If they're far better, you've got lots to learn from them. If they're worse than you, maybe you don't have anything to learn from them, but you probably do. But the bottom line is, screw comparing yourself to others. That's vanity and ego. Compare yourself to yourself. The idea is that you're always outdoing and improving on your own ability. That is the fundamental nature of how people achieve mastery. And that's a lifelong pursuit, not a short-term pursuit. So the recommended video for today is The New Gold Standard of Excellence, which is a video I did in my Crush It Club video series, which was a book review of the New Gold Standard, which is the Ritz-Carlton's version of how you would apply the kind of mastery and excellence that I'm talking about to your business and to your organization. And the Ritz-Carlton is an extremely good example, at least from what the book shows me, what the book said, of exactly what I'm talking about. Most people aren't excellent at what they do. They just think they are because they have the wrong mindsets. This is how to transfer mastery and excellence to your business and organization. So that's it for Crush It Club 232, Mastery by Robert Greene Book Review, Part 2 of this ongoing series. So if you appreciated this video, you learned anything useful from it, please share it with anybody who you think would benefit. My name is Tim B. Greene. Bye for now.